Good morning, Maria Williams, Chair of Faculty Alliance. Thank you for hearing my words today, which reflect the sentiments of most faculty across the three universities. It is regrettable that I must acknowledge that we have a crisis of leadership in the statewide office, which has resulted in confusion and chaotic decision-making. I must point out that Faculty Alliance has written a number of resolutions, the most recent one from our emergency meeting a week ago today, which asked for three things: that we have an immediate moratorium on the expedited program reviews being conducted under academic restructuring phase 2 until the UA administration follows the NWCCU and U.S. Department of Education guidelines to ensure inclusive decision-making. 2, that a task force be formed immediately, led by the three chancellors, their provost, and shared governance leadership in order to get the report to the NWCCU in advance of their October 31 deadline, in addition to identifying all specific Board of Regents policies and regulations that need to be amended in order to come into compliance with NWCCU standards. 3, that commercials, media, and the new UA system website be frozen as it presents uninformed and erroneous information. It has been a tumultuous few months, and the faculty acknowledge that we have dealt with severe budget scenarios that have included up to $135 million budget cut, multiple emergency meetings, declaration of financial exigency, a new compact between the governor and Chair Davies, reversal of said financial exigency, the new UA academic structure change management working groups, which is a week-long process led by an outside consultant, a questionable survey by said consultant, and now expedited program reviews under Vice President Layer with a deadline of October 10th. So imagine you might be a faculty or professional staff or student in the UAF College of Business. You are in an academic restructuring committee with your UAA College of Business counterparts, and only one of these colleges might survive. And guess what? You have to do this in an expedited fashion over a total of 6 hours with reports due by October 10th. This is not shared governance. All of the above actions culminated in a shocking letter from the NWCCU, which states that accreditation of our universities are at risk if shared governance is not implemented. Throughout all of these initiatives, the faculty voice has been muted. In addition to the leadership of our chancellors has been compromised by unilateral decisions being made from the statewide president's office. Concern over a clear lack of shared governance are expressed in the recent Staff Alliance resolution regarding administrative consolidations, which states that the staff have been left out of the decision-making process. The UAA Faculty Senate resolution calling into question the leadership abilities of our current president, and an unprecedented letter written by 7 former chancellors demanding that the UA system reverse course and adopt shared governance strategies and decisions on restructure. The US UAF resolution supports the Faculty Alliance resolution, which I had cited earlier, and a UAS Faculty Senate resolution also echo the sentiments of our respective faculty concerns as well, and lack of inclusiveness. I apologize, I'm also nervous. The faculty acknowledge that the state of Alaska is in a budget downturn, and we are willing to restructure and revision our respective universities. There have been hundreds of faculty who have done research, crunched budget figures, served on committees, which is evidence that we are willing to do some heavy lifting. We are willing to roll up our sleeves. We are not resistant to change. We acknowledge that. However, it must be done within the context of a process in which we work directly with our chancellors and our shared governance groups. May I capture 2 processes that have played out these past few months. The first is an example of inclusive governance and collaboration, and the second is a counterexample. Process 1. In late July, of course, we had that $135 budget cut. Faculty Alliance sent a memo to all the chancellors and provosts of the 3 universities asking that they include their faculty senate leadership in any planning and discussions of how they would survive the $135 million budget cut. It was almost magical. The 3 chancellors, their respective provosts, budget teams, faculty senate leadership, and a few staff set up Zoom meetings in advance of the July 30th Board of Regents meeting. This was a true shared governance process, all voices at the table dealing with real budget figures. Everyone had an opportunity to propose creative solutions and develop strategies to share expenses across the 3 universities. I saw all 3 of our chancellors making hard decisions in a transparent fashion and listening to their stakeholders. This was an inclusive process one that the NWCCU cites as necessary as the UA system moves forward. These discussions led to a proposal to the Board of Regents that maintains separate accreditation with shared services and a focus on students. Process 2. President Johnson proposed the new UA, a single accredited model in which we would only have one College of Engineering, one College of Business, and one College of Liberal Arts or Arts and Sciences, eliminating faculty positions and upending curriculum with no focus on how this would impact our students. We saw PowerPoint slides indicating that under the new UA, the faculty of the consolidated programs would get their pink slips this December with employment ending in 1 year, and that our administrators, our trusted chancellors, provosts, and deans would get theirs in November to have their employment end in February 2020. Anyone that has any sense of management would not support this process. While the first example under the chancellor's direction resulted in a sense of inclusion and collaboration, this current process has resulted in fear, frustration, lack of trust, and low morale. So solutions. So faculty, staff, and students have been discussing ways to move forward. However, we must correct the issues pointed out in the NWCCU letter by their October 31 deadline. In addition to lack of shared governance, the NWCCU indicated concern over Standard 2A2, which requires that in a multi-unit governance system, the division of authority and responsibility between the system and the institution is clearly delineated. But we must be equally aware of NWCCU standards 2A7 and 2A10, which require that each separately accredited institution have its own full-time CEO with true authority for running their institution and who reports directly to the board. This is a reference to the chancellors, not the system president. The chancellors need to be considered by the Board of Regents as co-equal executives, each of whom is endowed with authority to act in the interests of the entity for which they're responsible and to report directly to the Board of Regents. This change alone will address much of what the NWCCU indicated as problematic in its September 26 letter. Furthermore, the NWCCU requested in its letter that the response come from the institutions either jointly or separately, i.e. from the chancellors. The board can show compliance with the NWCCU standards by empowering the chancellors to work directly with them without the system president acting as an information filter. These actions should be authorized immediately. In conclusion, the path forward should include the following, which is based on inclusive decision-making using shared governance principles. The chancellors should be the ones to submit academic program changes and curricular proposals directly to the Board of Regents, as they are the CEOs of their respective universities and in accordance with UA policy. Statewide is not an accredited body. Establish an ad hoc committee that is led by the three chancellors with staff, faculty, and student governance members, which will create a response to the NWCC letter, identifying areas in which UA Board of Regents policies are out of compliance with NWCCU and the U.S. Department of Education. Development functions, public relations, alumni relations, and fundraising must remain within their respective universities. These should not be consolidated. Alternative restructuring must include a comprehensive cost-benefit analysis of each alternative and be carried out by committees that adhere to the principles of shared governance with adequate time to carefully consider all options. Foundational criteria for developing these plans should be student access and excellence in teaching, research, and public service. Plans originating from academic programs expressing mutual desire for restructuring should be encouraged, incentivized, and supported, because there is course sharing across the different systems. And I think that the current expedited program reviews under VP layer are muting the possibility of that happening. Thank you.